Hi, I'm Gene Maxwell with EMC BRS Marketing. In the next few minutes, I'd like to answer the question, why SourceOne? I'm going to highlight for you the benefits of using SourceOne for archive and e-discovery and why it matters to you, the customer. Let's begin. First of all, SourceOne is modular. It's made up of email archive, SharePoint archive, file system archive, and then Discovery Manager. The good news for you is that because it's modular, you only need to purchase the module that you need today, and yet you have confidence that if you add modules later, they're all integrated, then you can leverage Discovery Manager across the entire suite. SourceOne allows you to save money and reduce your storage costs in two different ways. Number one, if you can archive out inactive or older data from your Tier 1 storage to an archive tier of storage, as that archive tier of storage grows, the cost of that would be less than if it had all stayed on your Tier 1 storage. Secondly, the storage capacity that you've freed up by doing that archive can now be repurposed for more appropriate use. SourceOne for File System Archive gives you the ability to discover files in the wild. What that means really is that SourceOne has the unique capability of letting you index and manage your file system data without having to archive it first. SourceOne can improve your email system performance by taking data out of the primary email store and putting it again to an external email archive store, and that improves email performance. Similarly, you can take data from SharePoint and externalize the content in SharePoint to another storage platform, and that will improve the performance of your SharePoint systems. Your end user email experience can be dramatically improved by simply eliminating mailbox quotas. SourceOne allows you to eliminate mailbox quotas, which means that the email user no longer has to fight to keep their email box to a particular size. It also means they don't have to spend a lot of time fighting with a help desk to get their quota managed. It also means they no longer have to use PST files, which is the next point. By eliminating the need to have PST files, you eliminate one of the biggest risks in e-discovery because it's data that you don't know what's there until you have to go get it. It's very difficult to know what's there, very difficult to follow. So by eliminating PSTs, we've eliminated an e-discovery risk. Another thing about SourceOne is it's very difficult to manage in corporate retention policies without some tool to do it. And SourceOne gives you the ability to enforce corporate retention policies. SourceOne also gives you the ability to reduce your backup times by taking older or inactive data out of the backup stream, putting it to an archive tier so that when you're doing backups, you're not backing up the same old data over and over and over. And in the end, that shortens your backup windows and gives you time for data growth, which you know everybody's worried about. One of the most important things about SourceOne and all of the different modules is that for anybody who's had to do real e-discovery, it is a very difficult task. It's very expensive. It requires an awful lot of resources. In many cases, customers are forced to send some of those tasks outside and outsource those tasks. And once you've done that, you've lost control. SourceOne and all the abilities and modules that it has gives you the ability to keep all of this in-house, to manage e-discovery in-house, maintain control of it, and also develop procedures that can be repeatable for future e-discovery tasks. All of these things together represent the business value of SourceOne for archive and e-discovery. And hopefully now I've answered the question for you, why SourceOne? Thank you.